How many times have you found yourself arm wrestling with a supplier for termination for convenience? Now, as the name implies, this clause allows one party to notify the other party that they no longer wish to do business with them and the contract is terminated. But here's the nuance that a lot of negotiators miss. As a customer, there's no reason for you to agree that this be a mutual clause. In fact, it's probably to your detriment. And yet, that's what I see written into a lot of negotiated supplier agreements. And the negotiation on this point usually goes something like this. The customer says, yeah, I only see termination for cause, we need termination for convenience. And the supplier says, well, okay, but if we're going to put it in, we should make it mutual, like indemnities and liabilities. And more often than not, the customer responds with, all right, I guess that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense. You're the customer. You're paying for the supplier to provide you with goods and services. And as long as you're paying, they shouldn't have the right to decide suddenly that they no longer want to provide it. Or worse, threaten to terminate some critical product or service just to renegotiate their agreement. However, as a customer, you should absolutely have the right to decide who you want to buy from and when to terminate an agreement for something you no longer need or are not satisfied with. So the next time a supplier asks you for a mutual termination for convenience, ask them why they need it. And it should be a valid business reason, not some lame excuse like, well, if you have it, then we should have it. In over 25 years of negotiating with suppliers, I've yet to hear one provide a valid reason for them to have termination for convenience in a contract, which is why I've never agreed to it, and neither should you. But simply saying no to a supplier will only get you so far in a negotiation. You need to have a good reason for saying no, and you need to be able to articulate it. Otherwise, you'll quickly be labeled as someone difficult to work with, and both your supplier and your internal client will just try to go around you. If you want to learn more about negotiating termination for convenience or any other clause in a contract, check out my negotiation training course on our website, oneviewnow.com, or reach out to me directly if you'd like to know more about our corporate training program.